All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the household of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema Wan from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And real quick, I want to come with a lesson as I'm in transit before I forget. Me and my son were having a conversation, and the conversation led to, being a hypocrite and considering your ways, acknowledging the things that we do, if they line up with, if it's pleasing unto the Lord or if it's not. And also hitting the point that the Lord doesn't like hypocrites, actors, fakes, phonies. But just hitting on that, man. And also thinking the Lord is coming back for the new man. The Lord, like just speaking, a little bit on the conversation, the Lord is coming back for Shema Wan, not my government name, not the old man, not, who I used to be, and that's everybody. But, something happened where correction came into effect, and just how you move off of being corrected, where the scriptures tell you, I believe it's Sirach chapter, either 18, Ecclesiastes chapter 18, and I believe is around verse 14 in the GNT though. It tells, or it might be Sirach 22, and they got their blinker on. But it tells you that the Lord is pleased with those that take correction, and are eager to learn his ways, or eager to learn whenever they do mess up. And just thinking about it, if you have a spirit that gets sour and turned off whenever correction comes into effect, the Lord is not pleased with it. Where you linger on being corrected, which is an act of love at the end of the day. Just like it tells you, the Lord chastises his sons. The Lord chastises those that he loves. And even in, I know 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, when it tells you, whether being you be chastised or the Lord chasteneth, but the world will be condemned. I'm butchering the scripture, but I know it's 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. When you look at that word chastise or chasteneth, it goes into being trained up as a child. And, that's just what it is. But that's an act of love, which ain't comfortable at the time, but it's something to acknowledge, where you don't want to be a hypocrite, because whenever you don't get corrected and whenever things are going your way, you're good. And, but whenever correction comes, you linger in bitch-made emotions. When I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, which, a conversation I was having with my son, going back to the point of acknowledging that the Lord hates hypocrites. So even on that trait, not having those attributes where they're fitting, taking correction, taking rebuke, where it's, it's an act of the Lord extending his hand so you can know that you fucked up. Whatever it is, you could even be in the right and still get corrected or get rebuked or, cussed out. And it's still okay, because everything works out how the Lord wants it to. And he's always watching, wherein the Lord still expects us to keep our integrity whenever things don't go our way. So either way, it still works out by understanding the Lord don't fuck with hypocrites. And it always makes me think about myself whenever I have conversations with my son, because it fits, because that's the truth. That's what I've been taught. And passing it down, it's always fitting, man. The truth fits, so wear it, so to speak. But it always puts me in the grips of, you can't F around, because you can't be someone who is profitable unto many, but you're not profitable unto yourself. Just thinking about precepts like that. But at the end of the day, just having that mindset of, hey, the Lord is coming back for Shammai Wan or Zion or whoever you are in the spirit, whatever your Hebrew name is, and it's all through the spirit. Whoever you are in the spirit, not who the old man is, who didn't know Yahweh Shah. My government name didn't know nothing about Yahweh Shah, wasn't into Yahweh Shah. My government name was serving Jesus, Christianity, the flesh, sports, bitches, But Shammai Wan gotta serve the Lord and can't be a hypocrite and can't be profitable unto many and not unto himself. Look at these people driving out here crazy. But that was just on my spirit, just something quick. A conversation I had with my son where everything always goes back to acknowledging that, where you can't be a hypocrite. And also too, before I close, telling them, guess what? You're gonna fuck up. You're not gonna get it perfect. You're gonna mess up. This ain't gonna be the last time, the last conversation, the last rebuke, cuss out, correction. This ain't gonna be the last one. But you gotta have the spirit of, I'm gonna try to do better and apply it and do it, whatever it takes. This ain't this is not no damn cakewalk in life. That's why the elect are who the Lord chose, man. And Lord willing, that could be us, experiencing this hell, which is common. But hey, the way we move in the earth will be a reflection of Yahweh Shah, how he dealt with certain things, or just the growth, abounding in this truth, having the virtues, which are the highest qualities, the highest living standards you could have. And it all goes back to the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, because that's willing. But the flesh, the old man, the government name want to come back and show himself. And it's like, man, get your bitch ass up out of here. Hey, and them demons be fucking with you. And it's real, but we know what it is. And we gotta acknowledge that. The demons could be fucking with us, but it's like, man, I know I ain't tripping. I know I ain't going off. Where the doctrine is still sound, the actions still fear the Lord, but yet the demons saying, no, you ain't a man of the Lord. You tripping, you going off. It'd be moments like that, but acknowledging that's a part of the battle too. Which is beneficial to have men, that you can be around who experience that. Brothers go through that. That's not like a designed, perfectly fitting only for you type of hell. No, the Lord got soldiers on the earth that go through, things that, everybody goes through and experiences, to benefit off of each other. But, that's it. So I'll end it there. This was just in transit. I know I didn't pull any precepts, but try to quote a few. So Lord willing, this was edifying to the Lord's elect. And Lord willing, until the next time I say shalom.